What's up, guys? Joey McKernan here with the Equip Show, and we are highlighting great nonprofits here in the Omaha, Lincoln area. I am here with my friend Rhonda Mattingly from Bridges to Hope. Rhonda, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Joey. Thanks for
Good.
having me on the show.
Absolutely. I'm excited to learn about you guys before we dive in. As you guys know, when we're talking, number one, check out their website, check out what they're doing. Obviously, Rhonda's going to share more about Bridges. But I'm excited to learn today and just get a full deep dive of what you guys are about. So, Rhonda, how about you give us just a little bit like a 3 minute rundown, number one, of what Bridges to Hope is about, and then we'll kind of dive in.
Absolutely. So, back in the late 90s, Pastor Bud Christensen was a pastor at the Nebraska State Penitentiary, and he realized that the men were being released with nothing more than the clothing on their backs.
Mm,
So, who wants to go out in the community in prison clothing? So, he started to collect items, clothing items in his garage, and he realized that they need more than just the clothing.
mm,
When they're released, they need to start fresh. They
yeah,
need furniture, clothing, household goods, all of that. And so his garage got very small very quickly.
I'm sure it did.
So he decided to partner with Lutheran Family Services,
Mhm.
and they acquired a warehouse and started collecting beds and couches and kitchen tables and just about anything and everything. But then Lutheran Family Services decided to go in a different direction.
Mm,
So Pastor Bud's late wife, Muriel, was a retired teacher, and they knew this cause was very important. And so she went back to teaching, and all of her salary went to start Bridges to Hope.
mm,
And it was incorporated in 2009, and then they received their 501c3 nonprofit status in 2011. So they've been around for quite a while. Um, when I was first hired was 2015, and they had gone through a couple of directors that just for one reason or another didn't work out, and were basically running from volunteers.
mm,
And so they had saved up enough money to hire an executive director, and I came on, and our overall budget was 140,000, and that was to cover all the overhead and my salary and everything else. And so it was pretty tight. But I was extremely happy to get back into the nonprofit world. I had been working at the university for several years. My first career was nonprofit domestic violence and sexual assault agency
mm.
in Norfolk. And so then when I went to the university, I was director of operations for the Bureau of Sociological Research Department.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing, yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Bozer is
Yeah.
what we called it. And we were doing a longitudinal study with Native Americans in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Canada. And we followed youth through 10 years old to 18 years old, studying the loss of their culture and language and history and how that impacted their violence, their substance use, their mental health, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But when that ended, I stayed at the university, and I was a budget business coordinator. And I quickly realized that I'm not a numbers person. I don't like numbers and
Hmm.
working all of that. So fortunately, my husband Dave had a decent enough job. I was able to quit and find a nonprofit. And when it was interesting, because when I was hired or interviewed, one of the board members asked me how I could serve this population
Mm,
of those that are incarcerated,
yeah.
because I had served victims
Mm,
of sexual violence and domestic violence, and I had also worked in child protection and safety. And so he didn't understand how I could work with this population who were the perpetrators on those that I'd previously served. And for me, it's full circle, because you just can't put a Band-Aid on anything and expect it to heal. You need to
mm,
get to the root of the cause. And so um, I also believe that we all learn what we live, and we live what we learn.
mm,
And so look at all of those who are incarcerated and realize that they have a story.
mhm,
What must have their childhood been like?
mm,
And so it brought me full circle, and I've been there ever since as ED, so over 10 years.
Wow.
And we have since expanded. Um, when I first started, we only received necessity items, beds, couches, chairs, etc. And we passed on the non-necessity items, so like the wall hangings, the home decor, and that type of stuff.
Sure.
We would pass that on to another organization who would in turn sell it. And I thought they hired me for sustainability, so why don't we open our own thrift store?
Mm.
So in 2017, we opened Bud's Thrift Shop. We named it after our founder.
Yeah.
And Bud's Thrift Shop is right downtown on O Street. Um, Great walk-in traffic, great visibility, and we just worked with the landlord to negotiate if we could remodel his rundown place, give us a break on the lease, and so we've done that. It's an ongoing fundraiser for us. Last year, our gross revenue was approximately 156,000,
Yeah.
which paid for our thrift store manager, Kathy Herr, and the assistant manager, Tina, and all of our expenses, and then donated 25,000 back to Bridges to Hope, which covers one of our part-time staffs.
I bet it does. Yeah.
So when I first started, it was just me and a bunch of volunteers. Now we have 6 staff,
Wow.
2 locations, and working on another exciting project.
Isn't it so fun to just see the growth and
It is.
impact and
It is. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how fast time flies.
yeah.
It's like that's over 10 years.
Yeah.
And it has grown. And, we keep people. Our volunteers have been there since before I started.
Mm.
And so it's a really positive environment. It's a non-judgmental, safe space to be.
Mm. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, you guys have come a long way in 10 years. And talk to me a little bit about incarcerated individuals. So, some of my background, I worked at the Open Door Mission, and a lot of people were incarcerated. And when they transitioned, there was just a lot of overlap there. And
Mhm.
we saw a lot of people. We worked with the jails and some of the prisons. And I think people aren't aware of how challenging it can be for someone to transition back into normal society, right? And just the mental challenges, the just dive into that a little bit for me. Like, how challenging can that be for someone? And a lot of us have never been in, we just don't know,
Right.
Tell me more about that a little bit.
Well, first, let me start by addressing the stigma and the
Mm.
stereotypes that are out there because, many people believe that everyone behind there are dangerous or, worthless or don't deserve second chances.
Yeah.
And that's why we have provided dignity and respect and love to everybody who's back there. So let me share a story first
Please.
about one of our still volunteers who actually received services back in 2016. So a year after I had been there, and I met this gentleman who had been incarcerated for a number of years, and they're all very willing to share their stories in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shared with me that his earliest childhood memory was when he was 4 years old and he watched his stepdad beat his mother to death.
Mm.
And he ended up in foster care after foster care. And I get emotional every time I talk about this, but it's important for people to know because how do you not expect someone like that who has had a life of foster care after foster care, trauma such as that, and abuse in some of those foster cares to not seek out another family or a gang or something of the sort. And he got involved with, a pretty rowdy crowd and ended up incarcerated. And he served a number of years there. But when he got out, he knew, his life needed to change. And he started speaking with me and sharing his story in public presentations. And it just shows that, again, we all learn what we live and we live what we learned.
Mm.
So our job is to help them unlearn those behaviors. And now he's very successful in the community. He has a voice. He works for ACLU. He's just an amazing person.
Wow.
And so I think that's one of the first things to understand about those that are incarcerated. Then there are obstacles that they face when they come out. Many of them have been in for several years. They don't know technology, they don't know cell phones, they don't know anything about how advanced our society has become.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's overwhelming.
Mm.
And then you have those who won't hire them because they have a criminal background. And you have those that won't rent to them because they have a criminal background. And say they take care of all their requirements for parole and they're doing good. They have a job, but that job probably pays for their rent, utilities, and hopefully some food. And that's where Bridges to Hope comes in.
Mm.
But a lot of times, too, the location of where they are able to find housing is not conducive to their success.
Yeah.
Their successful reentry needs to have a supportive, safe community.
Mm.
And so that was one of the greatest obstacles that we found. And then again, just the stigma of anytime somebody says, oh, you've been incarcerated, and they kind of judge them a little too quickly. So,
Yeah.
you know, our request is always just drop your stones, people. You know,
Yeah.
we all have made poor choices in our lives,
Yeah.
and we all deserve second chances.
Yeah. I think there's so much to it because it's like we all want redemption, I believe. I believe that we all want everyone to be redeemed. And yet when real life situations come into our jobs, or a lot of us that are watching this, some of us are running businesses and people apply and we see, their background and we do a background check, or we have kind of a natural way to exclude somebody in that situation. How would you encourage somebody, you said drop your stones, how would you encourage somebody to do that?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
practically, like
Yeah.
if I'm struggling with that, like, and I think giving someone a job and taking a chance on somebody, I think is one of the greatest ways to help somebody. And yet it's hard
Yeah.
to sometimes drop those stones. What would you say?
So I would definitely say seek out a reentry organization and volunteer.
Okay.
Because when you come into our organization and you're volunteering, you get more out of it
Mm-hmm.
than what you realize. And you visit with these people and you learn who they are. There's another situation where I have a volunteer, and I've been given permission to share all these stories.
Yeah, of course.
And so one of our volunteers is a very successful rancher, um, and beautiful family, good Christian man, was at one of his farm buddies, which was only like 7 miles from his house. And they were out ranching, cattle herding, whatever they do. And afterwards, sitting down, having a few beers. And they were only 7 miles apart. And they lived on gravel roads. And he only needed to cross one highway on his way home. This is another one that's very emotional because it's so real for a lot of us. And when he crossed that highway, he took the lives of two teenagers who, it was a full moon out. They were driving under the moonlight, and he didn't see them. He takes full responsibility and full accountability, but that could happen to any one of us. All the golfers out there hanging out at the 19th hole after their league could happen to any one of us. And so by volunteering with an organization that provides reentry and talking to these people who have been incarcerated, they learn that it's not a scary thing. Going into the prisons and talking with others, worshiping with them, they're so excited to have those from the outside take time to spend with them and to get to know them.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more in detail of what Bridges to Hope does, like kind of, how you work with these individuals practically.
Sure. So we don't just serve those that have been in state facilities, state prisons. We serve all of Nebraska, and we serve the local county jails, but we also work with those that have been through drug courts, veterans courts, mental health courts, and possibly ordered to stay at a treatment facility. So anyone who has been justice involved, we will assist. And how we do that, we oftentimes are the first point of contact when they're released. And so they come to our organization, to our donation center, and they shop for free. We give them anything and everything that they need to set up their own apartment. But besides that, we provide referrals if they need a medical referral, a medical home. If they need mental health services or substance use services, we provide those referrals. But again, the greatest obstacle was housing, and so we're currently developing a tiny home village in Lincoln. And the cool thing about this is we are collaborating with Millard Lumber, Metro Community College, and the Department of Corrections to build these houses inside the prison.
Wow.
So those at Tecumseh who are incarcerated will be building their stick homes, so building the frames and the trusses.
Mhm.
And then those that are on work release can come to the property and do the finish work and put those houses up.
Wow.
They're going to be slab on grade. There's going to be 18 of them. 14 will be approximately 300 square foot studio homes. 2 of them will be 400 square foot, 1 bedroom, and 2 of them will be 500 square foot, 2 bedrooms.
Mm.
And we're charging $1 per square foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's affordable housing.
Yeah.
When we talk about a crisis in affordable housing, and there's projects that are going up and they're trying, but when they start at $800, $900, $1,000 a month, who is that affordable to? Not the population we're trying to serve.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way we can keep it that affordable is by the collaborative efforts and the donations of materials and supplies and
Yeah.
labor, and then working on a capital campaign to raise finances for that.
Yep.
We are also moving our donation center to that location,
Okay.
which for transitional housing, if you don't have any kind of oversight, they can be disastrous.
Mm.
So having the donation center, having Bridges to Hope right there at Hope Village,
Mm-hmm.
Bridges to Hope, get it? Hope Village.
Got it.
So having that community center and donation center right there helps us to have oversight and ensure there's a successful village.
Yeah.
And then we will also have it be self-managed through a village council, similar to city councils. They'll meet on a regular basis. They will elect their own officers from the residents there, but we will also have a representative from Bridges to Hope, the Mental Health Association, Lincoln Police Department, Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach. And then the one thing that is very important, I believe, is to include the neighborhood. And so the neighborhood is going to elect a representative to have a voice on that village council. They will decide such things as policies. Is this going to be a pet-friendly village? If so, there's going to have to be protocol for barking dogs and cleaning up after your pets, etc. So, and then the community center will be used as family gatherings, holiday gatherings. We'll have a kitchen there. We'll have coin-operated laundry facilities, so they don't have to drag their laundry all over the community.
Mhm.
We will also open it up to the broader community and have AA meetings, NA meetings, SA meetings, peer support groups, financial literacy classes. But the cool thing about this too is we're developing a prevention program for youth. Right now they have programs in Lincoln that work with middle school and high school once they start displaying behaviors that might be indicative of incarceration later on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working with 2nd through 5th graders prior to them displaying any behaviors
Mm-hmm.
so that we can break that generational cycle of incarceration.
Wow.
So a lot of good things going on. We've got naming rights for the houses.
Okay.
So we've got like 4 left. If they want naming rights, they donate $10,000 for the studio and they get naming rights to the houses.
Sure. Wow. I love it. That's so exciting.
It is very exciting. And we've had such participation. White Castle Roofing is donating for the roofs. Wellman's Plumbing and Heating has contributed immensely. Rezac Construction, Mike Rezac is heading up the project.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of
What's the
partners.
capital campaign going to look like?
So the total cost of the project is $3.2 million.
Okay.
With all the in-kind labor and supplies, material donations, we're hoping to get approximately 1.9 million, 2 million from that.
Mhm.
So our goal is to raise approximately 2 million to make sure we cover everything.
Are there any tax credit opportunities?
Well, we are a nonprofit, so anybody who contributes, anybody who donates can use those as tax write-offs. Bridges to Hope is going to own the properties and own the houses,
Okay.
so it'll be a leasing agreement.
Sure.
And we do have property tax exempt because we are a nonprofit.
Yeah. That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
That's
Where right now we've received, have committed, or pending 1.3 million.
okay.
So we have about another 700,000 or more to raise for financial
Sure.
contributions.
Sure. Yay.
I know, super exciting. It's
Yeah.
been going on for a long time. We had, back in 2017, I had been invited by NIFA, Nebraska
Mhm.
Investment Finance Authority, to speak at one of their conferences here in La Vista.
Mhm.
And at that same conference was Pastor Dan Bryant from Eugene, Oregon.
Mm.
And he spoke of his tiny home villages, Square One villages.
Mm.
And I just loved the idea. And I said, why not Lincoln?
Yeah.
And so kind of started way back in the day.
Like, come on. You just gotta bring it in. I love it. Come on. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
But it's, it's really challenging. I mean, when you do anything new that's never been done before, and in Lincoln, this hasn't been done before, you come up across all kinds of hurdles and challenges.
Sure.
The zoning issues,
That was
the
my next question
codes.
for you is
Yeah.
some of the hurdles.
Yeah, the zoning and the codes, it's never been done before. So
Mm.
they're looking at codes and saying, well, it doesn't fit into any of those.
Mm-hmm.
And so we needed to be patient, which is not one of my strong
Mine either.
suits. And they had to figure out amendments
Mm.
for a lot of different things.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're nearing the construction phase. We've got just a couple more blessings we need for permits, and then we'll start construction.
Okay. Once it gets going, so you said there's a council.
Mhm.
Are you going to have to increase staff or how
Yeah.
many staff members?
Well, right now, we're trying to work with what we have because we need to raise enough funds to get the village built. When I first had the idea, everybody asked, how are you going to fund this? And I said, I don't know, but God does.
Yeah.
And he literally has put
Yeah.
the right people in the right place at the right time
Yep.
to make it work. And so a lot of this is just unknown. You go with blind faith.
Mhm.
So we'll need probably a community coordinator to make sure that, everything is running smoothly.
Mhm.
And it would be nice to eventually have a grant writer so I could
Yeah.
stop trying to write all the grants
Sure.
and
Yeah.
do everything.
Yeah.
I do have Karen Pease is my development assistant for Hope
Sure.
Village, and she has been a godsend
Yeah.
because trying to do it, all alone is very difficult.
Yeah.
And so I surrounded myself with those that have the expertise,
Mhm.
and I have a wonderful team that's helping with all of this, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do it without, but a lot of them are volunteer. So
Yeah. How can, I run a business here in Omaha.
Mhm.
How can I get involved?
you can start by helping us with Give to Lincoln Day.
Okay. That's coming up.
Yeah, so anytime now through May 29th, you can
Yeah.
go online
Okay.
and donate, and we receive a proportional match according to what we raise
Okay.
from generous community members. And you can also help spread the word. I have some brochures. I have some business cards that you can pass out here. Like I said, we serve all of Nebraska. We serve the Omaha Corrections as
Okay.
well. I would love to have eventually satellite offices because everybody is always saying, do you have a place in Omaha? Do you have a place in
Sure.
Omaha?
Sure.
So just getting the word out, the awareness
Yeah.
and everything, and with your business, sharing the information with us, knowing that it's still helping a lot of people in Omaha.
Yeah. What what are you looking forward to the most with this project?
The end.
The
And not the end.
finish line to
Yeah,
get
the
going.
completion of the village. I'm not kidding you. It was 2017 that this dream kind of
Wow.
came about and everything. And I had a few health issues that set me back for a few years, but we got rolling again. Then COVID happened, and so it's been going pretty steady since 2021.
Okay.
I thought by now we would have.
Always
the-
harder and longer
yeah,
than you think.
yeah, it
Always
really
is.
is.
It
It
always
really
is.
So I'm looking forward to ribbon cutting
Yeah.
where we can show that, this does happen. I'm one of those that if somebody tells me I can't, I say, watch me.
Yeah.
And so I'm bound and determined to make this happen.
Yeah.
And it's only, again, by the grace of God that it is.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share that we didn't cover here?
Again, just volunteer or reach out to reentry services. Get to know those that have been incarcerated, whether it's county jails or state prisons or somebody who's been through treatment facility. Pay attention to mental health and
Yeah.
support mental health and substance use issues, because that's most of the time, a key factor in
Yep.
incarceration and
Yeah.
everything. Just show love and dignity,
Yeah. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Joey. This went really fast.
You are amazing. It always goes really fast.
Yeah.
And your website is
bridgestohopene.org.
bridgestohopene.org, as you guys are listening, guys. Obviously, a great project, amazing. Is the project on the website, I'm assuming, or
Yes, it
some
is.
form of information there?
Yeah, all the information for Hope Village is on our website. And again, give to Lincoln Day. Our goal is $50,000.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, guys, make sure you head there, give to them. They're amazing. Rhonda is an incredible leader, obviously, as you guys have heard. Check out their website, and there's so many ways with this project here. If you're Omaha or Lincoln, you can get involved. So again, Rhonda, thank you so much.
Thanks, Joey. It was fun.
You are amazing. Guys, as we're wrapping up here, we will be back with another nonprofit. And as you guys know, so much going on in the world today, but we can make an incredible difference together. And we will be back here in probably 2 days with another guest. Thanks, Rhonda.
Joey.